Today, let's collect magic. Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of my Let's Collect series, my quick guide to the key comics, important stories, and fun covers of a comic book character or a comic series or something along those lines. Today we're going to be talking magic, a member of the X-Men, a member of the New Mutants, Kitty Pryde's best friend, Colossus's little sister, a demon, a hero, all the things in between. This is going to be your quick guide to her key comics, important stories, and fun covers. I did do a history on her a couple weeks ago that was basically outlining how weird her first appearances and all the little quick appearances she had during that run before she had kind of a true first and that kind of stuff. I'm not going to go through all of those again. I'm going to focus on some other keys today, but you can go track that video down on my channel from about 2 weeks ago. Now, as we go through this, as I go through the keys and the covers, I am going to give you a quick price guide for those. This is the price guide I use. And basically, I throw them into categories, and you'll see the little dollar signs on the slides. I do that so that these prices that I give for these books are not immediately out of date, as the price is always moving and changing. So I kind of come up with these categories as a way to kind of give you a range of what you can expect related to those books. And usually these hold up quite a bit longer unless something very big changes. Those are usually values that you can, ranges that you can trust pretty well. So with that, let's dig into the key comics for Magic. First up, we got Giant Size X-Men #1. Obviously, this is from 1975. Huge book, mostly because of the first appearances of Storm, Colossus, Nightcrawler. But Magic also makes her first appearance in here, sort of. We see Colossus, as he's getting talked to by Professor Xavier, use his powers, save a little girl from a runaway tractor. We find out, we know it's his little sister. We don't get her name, and we won't see her again for 6 years, 5 or 6 years. But this is Illyana, and she does make an appearance here in this book, however brief and unnamed. She doesn't appear again, like I said, for 6 years till 1981, and Uncanny X-Men #145. And this is her second appearance. We do learn her name, but again, she's only in a few panels, and she's really just a plot device, sort of, as she's being used as bait. She's been captured and being used to try to control Colossus. Next, we have Uncanny X-Men 160 from 1982, and this is really where she becomes more than just his little sister. She actually becomes a character here. This is a story arc where she basically wanders off, gets lured into limbo. They have to go into limbo to try to save her. When they're trying to flee limbo with her, Kitty loses contact with her for just a second, has to reach back and grab her and pull her out. And when she does, she's 7 years older. And we don't know what happened during that 1 second that was 7 years for her. And we won't know for almost 2 years. But yeah, Magic, instead of being a little kid, is a teenager. And we see where she goes from here. Next, we get Uncanny X-Men #171. And this is the first time we see her use any sort of powers after coming back from limbo. We see the first appearance of the Soul Sword, her first use of her powers. And we finally get to start understanding that there's more going on here, or more happened during that than just her aging up. So we finally get that story in Magic, Storm, and Illyana, the 4-issue miniseries from 1983 and into 84. This is #1. We're going to list #1 and #4, but really you might as well get all 4 of these if you're going to try to collect Magic, so you can read this story. But this is kind of the start of her origin story, and we start to find out what happened during those 7 years. And then this is Magic, Storm, and Illyana #4, and this is her first appearance as Dark Child, and we see her actually have her demon form and see her truly take the power that this was all about, why she was captured in the first place. We see her kind of come back from the edge and escape limbo in this book. So we finally fill in that complete gap from 160. Next, we have New Mutants #14. And this is where she joins the New Mutants team for the first time. And again, we see that she's using her powers, but she's hiding them from Professor Xavier and others, so nobody knows exactly what she's capable of at this point. New Mutants #21 is the first time we actually see her officially called Magic. Obviously, the miniseries was called Magic, but she wasn't necessarily referred to that, and she was not referred to as a code name at any point up until here. And this wasn't even in the story. This was in a character sheet at the back of the book where they refer to her as Magik for the first time officially. Next, we have New Mutants number 73. I don't know who is texting me at the moment, but we're going to mute that. We got New Mutants number 73. Illyana basically sacrifices herself to stop a demon invasion, and it's like those 7 years never, in the end, it's like those 7 years never happened. She becomes a child again. She's a little girl again, and it's like none of what we saw previously had ever happened. She stays that way as a child all the way up through her death in 1993 as the first victim of the legacy virus. And so this is, you're collecting the death of Magik here, or the death of Illyana really at this point, because she's not really Magik at this point. And then in X-Men 303, and then she doesn't return until 2004 in New X-Men number 38. And she returns as the Dark Child persona and not necessarily as Illyana. She stays this way for a while. She doesn't really get her soul back and really become whole until New Mutants number 21 in 2011. And then a couple of other minor keys we're going to throw in here. Avengers versus X-Men number 5. She, her brother, Namor, Emma, and Cyclops all joins with the Phoenix to become the Phoenix Force. So we see her actually controlling the Phoenix for part of this run. Not a very minor but kind of cool key. We see her become the Sorcerer Supreme for the first time in 2018's What If Magik became the Sorcerer Supreme. She's actually done that in addition since then in the main continuity, but this is the first time she takes on the mantle of Sorcerer Supreme in this alternate universe tale. And then not until just this year did she get a ongoing solo series, 50 years after her first little appearance as a little girl saved from the runaway tractor. She finally gets her own book here in 2025. So those are the key comics for Magik. And she is basically, so that's her key comics. A bunch of books that you can collect, all of them really, really affordable, except for that Giant Size X-Men number 1. But yeah, a lot of cool books you can get related to her. Let's move on to the stories. So let's add that to my thing here and make myself a little bigger as I talk about this. So what stories should you be reading? What are the important story arcs for Magik? First up is that Magik and Storm and Illyana miniseries. If you buy a trade of this, it almost always includes Uncanny X-Men number 160. So you get the story like of how she got pulled into limbo, and then you get the 4-issue mini to tell you what happened, and you get her true origin. Definitely a place to start. If you're going to start with this character, you can get really all the background you need right here on who she is and how she got her powers and how she became the character that we see going forward through the comics. Next, we have the Demon Bear Saga. And if you get this epic collection, it gives you actually 13 through 31. The issues I'm really talking about that you really want to read is New Mutants number 14, which is the issue where she joined the team. And then issues 18 through 20, which is maybe considered the best New Mutant story of all time, the Demon Bear story. Definitely one that you'd want to read. But the rest of this trade is also very good and worth your time. Next, we have Inferno. And I just listed here New Mutants 71 through 73, which is kind of the Magik story arc. There's a bunch of other Uncanny X-Men, X-Factor, other books in here. I know Inferno itself is a story arc that's a little bit divisive, but this is the one, obviously, where she basically reverts to being a little kid again, an important part of her history, if nothing else, in terms of a place to read, if you're wanting to read Magik stuff. Next, we have Quest for Magik, New X-Men 33 through 43, plus X Infernus, which is actually from 2009, the New X-Men from 2004, which is kind of basically how she returns for the first time since being dead. She returns as the Dark Child, and it's really the story arc of how what she's doing, how she's coping with not having a soul during this period, and trying to find her humanity and her soul again. Just a great place to read in terms of just if you're interested in Magik, definitely a story arc worth your time. Next, we have Uncanny by Bendis, Uncanny X-Men Volume 3. I got 1 through 18 here listed. There is an Omni coming from this, although there are currently other trades in print. There's going to be an Omni of this fall. And this is basically her first run with the big team, with the X-Men team. Obviously, you see Cyclops and Emma are big parts of this run as well. But this is kind of her first time stepping up to the main team and being a part of it, and kind of being trained by Cyclops to be a leader going forward. So definitely a story arc that's worth your time, especially if you're a fan of Bendis. New Mutants Dead Souls 1 through 6 was a miniseries by Matthew Rosenberg that got a lot of rave reviews. It's just being a lot of fun. It's a New Mutants taking on the paranormal, and Magik is leading this team at this point. So just another story arc that would be a great read if you're looking for cool Magik stuff. And then our final book is The Labors of Magik, New Mutants Volume 4, issues 25 through 28 by Vita Ayala. And yeah, this is Magik and battling Madeline Pryor for the throne of Limbo. She's doing all these other things. She's got her responsibilities in Limbo. She's been Sorcerer Supreme, I believe, at this point. And yeah, Madeline tries to take her throne, and this is Magik having to deal with everything she's been through, her relationship with Limbo. Does she even want this? And what is her responsibilities and her powers? So a great, this was probably next to Demon Bear, the most recommended Magik story arc that I found kind of looking through stuff. So seemed to be the one that people talked about the most, this recent story. So those are the Magik storylines that you can check out. All we got left is to go through those fun covers. For the covers, I will say I didn't just focus on valuable covers. There's a bunch of pretty valuable covers that I did not include. And by a bunch, I mean 5 or 6 probably, that are like covers that have some significant value. I just included the ones I liked, that I thought were fun, that I enjoyed. Some of them are worth something. Some of them are pretty cheap. But yeah, these are my choices for the fun covers of Magik. It doesn't mean there's obviously other covers that you can put in the comments below if people don't know about. So let me add that back and make myself a little bigger again. And we're going to start not till 2009 with X Furnace. Number 1, this David Finch cover of her and her Dark Child persona. Just a gorgeous cover, very cool background. Obviously, she's looking very intimidating here, and just a very cool Magik cover. In addition, you have this great J. Scott Campbell, which was a variant for that, as a 1 in 20 variant. And you can see the top being Magik as her hero, and the bottom, the Dark Child, kind of the flip there on the flames of her standing there. Just a very cool J. Scott Campbell cover, and a decent value cover on this 1 in 20. Next, we have Uncanny X-Men number 4 from 2013, this Chris Bachalo cover. And this is the only artist that's going to get 2 covers on this. I love this. I end up having to include them both. We'll get to the other one a little bit later. But yeah, just a great cover. A reminder, as you will see, these covers in order of when they were released, and not necessarily in order of my favorites, although you'll be able to figure out what my favorites are here as we go through. But this is definitely one of them. I love this cover. Next, we have Uncanny X-Men number 20, the Addie Granoff 1 in 50. I debate on a couple of Addie Granoff covers to include here. I end up going with this one because this is a big value book, and it is a gorgeous cover despite having Cyclops on it. But just a great Addie Granoff cover here from 2014. Next, a very cheap cover. This Chris Anka cover from Uncanny X-Men number 33 from 2015. See Kitty and Magik standing there facing all of these demons from Limbo that she has to deal with, and all these monsters. That looks like Fing Fang Foom in the background, just the 2 of them. I just think this is just a really fun cover. I really like it, so I included it here. Not a super cheap cover to get, basically cover price. New Mutants War Children number 1 from 2019. I had to include a Bill Sienkiewicz cover. This is a super, like, if you like Sienkiewicz at all, I think this is just perfect for his style, with the split of her as herself, as the Dark Child. Just a really cool cover and a very affordable book as well. Next, we have House of X number 5 from 2019. This David LaFuente cover, just all the different kind of appearances and versions of Magik we've got all over the years on this particular cover. I think it's just really well done and very, very cool. Next, we have Strange Academy, Volume 1, number 1 from 2020. This Peach Momoko Comic Mint store exclusive. There's a trade dress. There is a Virgin version, both of which go for pretty good money. A very, very cool cover and a very popular cover for her. This is probably maybe the most popular cover for her. Not necessarily my favorite, but definitely worthy of being included on this list. Next, we have New Mutants #1 from 2020, the Stanley Artgerm Lau variant of Magic. We had a regular variant trade dress, a 1 in 200 Virgin variant that goes for big money. But by big money, I mean right or just above ratio value. But just a gorgeous Artgerm cover. I really, really like this one as well. Next, we have New Mutants #12 from 2021. This Mike Del Mundo cover. I just thought this was a lot of fun. Something about it makes me laugh. I think it looks cool. Her dealing with the media, because she's not known for necessarily being tactful all the time. So yeah, I just thought this was a lot of fun and just a very cool cover. Next, we have New Mutants #26. This Carmen Canero. Just a gorgeous cover with the swing of and shattering of the Soul Sword. Just a very, very cool cover that I really, really liked. Next, we have our other Chris Bocciolo cover. This is Realm of X #1. And yeah, again, another one with a trade dress and a more valuable Virgin version. Just another cool cover where they're sitting on the skulls, kind of with the background. Just really like this one a lot. And then our thumbnail Magic #1, the Ivan Talavera 616 store exclusive. This is an artist I've only recently been seeing a bunch of covers from. I don't know if they've done much before, even this year. It seems like the last year and a half or so is really where they've come out of nowhere. Had several covers that have been that have hit the list and that kind of stuff, or hit the hot list and that kind of stuff. This is one that didn't, but I love this one a lot. Super affordable. Next, you knew if there was a Frisian Magic, I was going to find a way to put it in here. This Ginny Frisian Magic #3, also from just this year. A gorgeous cover as well. And then last but not least, a very, very recent cover. This Pablo Villalobos cover for Magic #6. This is just the regular A cover. Thought this was super cool as well. So those are our fun covers. So we've gotten through our keys, our important stories, and our fun covers for Magic. Before we get out of here, I want to do a quick shout out to my members. Thank you to them for keeping this channel going. Being a member gets you up for giveaways at the end of every month, and it also helps me afford StreamYard and continue to do this. So I am thankful to all of those folks. With that, I want to thank you guys for watching. We will catch you next time. Later.